Hello, everybody.
We will now take up Rice on the record in 2024 CR 179, State of Kansas versus Andrew Christian Rice.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. We have Mary Ann Shirley for the state and Andrew Christian Rice in person. And pro se, Mr. Rice, in count one, you're accused of driving under the influence of either drugs, alcohol, or a combination of drugs and alcohol to a degree that rendered you incapable of safely driving a vehicle. This allegedly occurred on September 26, 2024 in Greenwood County, Kansas. This is charged as a B non-person misdemeanor. This particular charge has a minimum fine that if you were to be convicted, you'd have to pay at least $750. You could be ordered to pay up to $1,000, and that's just in fines. In count two, you're accused of unlawful possession of drug paraphernalia in the form of a vape pen, rolling papers, a nectar collector, and that's for the purpose of storing or introducing a controlled substance into the human body. Also a Class B misdemeanor. This does not have the minimum fine, but it does have the maximum possible of $1,000 and 6 months in the county jail. In count three, you're charged with unlawful possession of the controlled substance, marijuana, and/or its active ingredient, THC. This is another B non-person misdemeanor, another 6 months possible in jail, and another $1,000 fine. I don't know if you qualify for diversion, but if you want to look into that, you'll have some time to contact the county attorney and see if you qualify or if you're interested in taking diversion.
Your Honor, I've already applied for diversion and I just received an acceptance letter.
All right, so we will set this up.
And he can actually come down and sign the agreement is here in the file. If he'd like to, since he's in the courthouse, if he'll just come down, he can take care of that today.
All right. Missy, when's his next control date?
And this is Mr. Rice, correct?
Yes.
Okay, it is November 19th at 3:30.
If you are fully diverted by then, Mr. Rice, you will not need to come back and see me. But if you do not have a contract on file with the court, then you do have to be back here in person November 19th at 3:30. I say in person, it could be by Zoom as well.
Yes, Your Honor.
But now you need to go down to the county attorney's office and take care of your contract. I will continue the $7,500 surety bond that you posted with Florio Bell Bonds on September 28, 24, with all conditions on that bond and the added conditions that you either complete your diversion or be back here November 19th, 3:30.
Yes,
All right, you may go, sir. Thank you. We will now be on the record in Smith 2020 CR 93, State of Kansas versus Jessica Danielle Smith. Mary Ann Shirley appears for the state. The defendant, Jessica Smith, appears in person and pro se. Ms. Smith, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. You are also here on a warrant to show cause why your probation should not be revoked for felony possession of methamphetamines. Jessica Morgan, your probation officer, is alleging that you violated your probation by failing to report to your CSO as directed, by failing to pay your fines and costs associated with this case as directed, and by failing to report all of your changes in address, phone number, and employment within the time frame required. She specifically says you had given her the impression or had outright told her that you were employed at a specific employment starting September 22nd But when she went to confirm that with the employer, he said he ended your employment in September of 22.
And that's wrong. So
All right, well, hold up. There will be a hearing for you to contest that. The hearing will be set with Judge Ricky, as Chief Judge Ricky is your sentencing judge, so he'll be the one to determine if you violated your probation or not. Do we have a date with him, Missy, to hear this?
Yes, November 27th at 10.
You must be back here in person at the courthouse.
okay.
In person at the courthouse, November 27th. Missy, you said 10 a.m.?
Yes.
Judge did set your bond at 3,000 cash or surety, and it looks like you did post that bond. So I will continue the bond of $3,000 that you posted September 23rd, 2024 with Paula Crowell of Affordable Bail Bonds, with all existing conditions and the added conditions that you check in with your probation officer while you're here today, that you reappear in person at that date I gave you of November 27 at 10.
Okay.
Otherwise, between now and the hearing date, comply with your probation and your bond. Ms. Shirley, is there anything further on this hearing?
I don't believe so, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Oh, I didn't ask you, Ms. Smith, did I, about an attorney?
I would need one appointed,
All right, are you employed at this time?
not,
How long have you been unemployed? Since at least September of 22? Okay,
well, yes, technically.
okay, so you haven't been employed since 22. Why are you not working?
Well, I just recently got out of jail actually this last September too. I was in there for 9 months. So,
Now, that wasn't on this case.
no.
All right, I will appoint an attorney. Call Missy later in the week to find out who that is.
Okay. Could I get her number, please?
Missy?
All right. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And Missy, it'll probably be the one she had before. Do you know who that was?
Mr. Favre had her before.
All right, if Mr. Favre is willing to take your case again, he will probably be the one that's reappointed. All
Okay.
right, thank you. You may go at this time.
Thank you.
Let's take up Mr. Williams. He has 2 cases on the docket today. We will take up 2024 TR 579. We will also take up 2024 TR 593, each captioned Robert Scott Williams or Robert S. Williams. Marianne Shirley for the state. The defendant appears in person and pro se, and you are Robert Scott Williams?
Yes, ma'am.
Very well. On the case 2024 TR 579, you're charged in count 1 with driving while suspended, a third or subsequent charge for the same, or in other words, after having at least 2 prior convictions. That makes this a Class A non-person misdemeanor. If convicted, you could serve you'd have to serve at least 5 days in the county jail, but you could be ordered to serve up to a year. You could also be ordered to pay up to $2,500 in fines. On count 2, you're accused of operating a motor vehicle without proof of liability insurance after 2 prior convictions within the last 3 years, and that is a Class A non-person misdemeanor. I believe that carries, is that a $800 fine, if I remember correctly, minimum up to $2,500. The jail sentence could be up to a year in the county jail. Then in the case of 2024 TR 593, you are charged in count 1 with driving while your license was canceled, suspended, or revoked And that, if there are no priors for that, would be a B misdemeanor. But if the state files an amended charge or files a complaint like they did in the case I just went over with you, then you could be looking at the same penalties as the third time, with the minimum required jail sentence up to a year and a fine up to $2,500. In count 2, you're accused of driving while your license was revoked as habitual. That is a different statute, and you can be charged and convicted of each. That one also carries up to a year in the county jail and up to $2,500 in fines. Mr. Williams, do you have any other cases in this court or any other?
Yeah, only here
Okay, so just the
in
two.
Greenwood County.
Say that again, please.
Only in Greenwood County.
All right, and no, and only these two.
Yeah, and I had a previous one before that I just hired on October 1st.
You finished it?
No, we still got to come back. You appointed me Richard Paul.
All right. Have your financial circumstances changed since I appointed Richard Paul on the third case or the first?
No, I'm paying more in rent for you, so I don't have to drive to Madison.
All
I
right.
got to ride with my boss every day, so my rent went up to $700 instead of $500. But
So in other words, your financial situation got worse than better? It got worse?
it's about the same. It's
Okay.
about the same, really.
All right, well, I will appoint Richard Paul in each of these two cases. And let's set that for the same day as the other one. You said it's October what?
It's actually November 9th.
November 9th. Can you confirm that, Missy?
I'm pretty sure it's the 9th anyways.
Yep, it's November 9th at 10 o'clock.
Okay.
8th, sorry, November 8th at 10 o'clock.
November 8th at 10 o'clock.
Yeah, it's one day off.
Well, that one day can make a difference in.
Definitely.
jail. All right.
No, definitely.
So on both of these cases, I will continue the bonds. Judge, one of us have set the bond in each of these cases at 5,000. Professional surety and Florio bail bonds helped you make those on September 5th, 2024. That's in each case. So I'm going to make it an additional condition to those bonds that you contact Richard Paul before that date and that you be back here by Zoom November 8th at 10 a.m. with Mr. Paul.
Yes, ma'am.
Any questions about any of that?
Not at the moment.
Okay, Ms. Shirley, anything further from the state?
Nothing, thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Williams, you're excused from these proceedings at this time, but don't forget to call your attorney and come back when you're supposed to.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have to say goodnight. Be safe, be well, sleep sweet, and much love.